Welcome to SA News Weekly News Update. We'll cover the top stories from across the United States, important developments worldwide, and new insights from the world of health and science.
The United States government has officially entered a shutdown after Congress failed to pass a funding bill before the October 1st deadline. This marks the first shutdown of 2025 and affects hundreds of thousands of federal workers, national parks, and key services. President Trump met with congressional leaders earlier in the week, but negotiations stalled over disagreements on healthcare spending and border security. The White House warned that layoffs and program cuts are very real if the impasse continues. The shutdown's ripple effects are already being felt. Military pay is delayed, food assistance programs are paused, and federal agencies are operating with skeleton crews. Public sentiment is tense, with protests erupting in major cities. As one federal employee told CBS News, "We're pawns in a political chess game." A sweeping new executive directive, NSPM 7, issued by President Trump, has sparked alarm across the nonprofit sector. More than 3,000 organizations have signed a joint letter condemning the measure, which mandates stricter federal oversight of nonprofits receiving government funding. Critics argue the directive could stifle advocacy, limit free speech, and disproportionately affect groups working in civil rights, climate action, and public health. The directive requires nonprofits to disclose detailed operational data and submit to new audits, raising concerns about political retaliation and bureaucratic overreach. "This is not about transparency, it's about control," said Maria Gomez, director of a DC-based health nonprofit. The White House defends the move as a way to ensure taxpayer accountability, but legal challenges are already underway. The directive's impact could reshape how nonprofits operate in the U.S. for years to come. A dramatic shift in the Israel-Hamas war unfolded this week as Hamas agreed to key elements of President Donald Trump's 20-point peace plan, including the release of all hostages and the transfer of Gaza's administration to Palestinian technocrats. The announcement came after intense diplomatic pressure and a stark ultimatum from Trump, who warned Hamas to accept the deal by October 5th or face all hell like no one has ever seen before. Despite Trump's call for an immediate halt to bombing, Israeli airstrikes continued in Gaza City, killing at least 72 people in one day, including 3 children. The World Health Organization reports that over 42,000 Palestinians have suffered life-changing injuries, and Gaza's health system is nearing collapse. Negotiators from Egypt and Qatar are working to finalize the deal, while international leaders, including Turkish President Erdogan, have played key roles in brokering support. Trump hailed the moment as a big day for Middle East peace, though analysts warn that deep political divisions and logistical hurdles could still derail progress. Ukraine has launched a series of strategic drone attacks on Russian oil refineries, causing fuel shortages in several regions and forcing Russia to ration supplies. These strikes represent a shift in Ukraine's tactics, targeting economic infrastructure far from the front lines. The Wall Street Journal reports that some Russian regions are running on empty, while Bloomberg notes a sharp drop in crude exports. The attacks coincide with new U.S. tariffs on Russian energy products, further squeezing Moscow's economy. Analysts say this could mark a turning point in the war, as Ukraine seeks leverage beyond battlefield gains. The Kremlin has condemned the strikes as economic terrorism, while Kyiv maintains they are legitimate acts of self-defense. In a groundbreaking development in medical science, researchers at the Massachusetts General Hospital and Brigham and Women's Hospital, working with biotech company BioArctic, announced promising results from a clinical trial for a new drug targeting Alzheimer's disease. The experimental treatment, lecanemab, marketed as Leqembi, demonstrated a significant reduction in cognitive decline in patients with early-stage Alzheimer's, as detailed in a study published this past week in the New England Journal of Medicine and further discussed at scientific conferences around September 27th. This represents a crucial step forward in the fight against a disease that affects millions globally and for which effective treatments have been notoriously elusive. While further research and regulatory approvals are still required, the findings offer renewed hope for patients and their families, suggesting that modifying the disease's progression, rather than just managing symptoms, may soon be within reach. Experts emphasize that early diagnosis and continued research funding remain vital to translate these promising results into widespread clinical benefits. October 1st marks World Vegetarian Day, a global call to embrace compassion through our diet. Sant Rampal Ji Maharaj reminds us that true devotion begins with mercy toward all living beings. Quoting Genesis 1:29, he says, "God gave us seed-bearing plants for food, not flesh." His teachings urge us to follow divine law, protect animals, and purify our souls through vegetarianism. In a world grappling with climate change, pandemics, and moral crises, the call to vegetarianism is more urgent than ever. As Sant Rampalji Maharaj teaches, true devotion begins with compassion, and compassion begins with what we choose to put on our plate. As he often says, do not destroy the work of God for the sake of food. Let's choose kindness on our plates and in our hearts. And that wraps up this week's bulletin. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Stay with SA News. Truth that you want to know.